Hey everyone, I know it's been a bit here, but I've decided to make a little comeback here and post a little video here for you guys. With it being the final home game coming up soon for the Oakland A's, I figured I would make a little video here talking about the stadium itself and some of their final home games that they've had. Not too long ago, I myself went and flew out to Oakland as a Chicago Cubs fan to check out one of the final few home games they had against the Giants, where it was the final battle of the Bay Series between them. Going out there, I figured, and I heard all about all the rumors about the stadium, that it's terrible, it's run down, it's not the best stadium, it's ugly, it's hideous, and all the other terrible things that have just been said about the Coliseum over the past few years here. With the team making the move out to Las Vegas, similar to their other home tenants of the Coliseum, the Las Vegas Raiders, once they've left Oakland to make the move to Vegas. Now the Oakland A's are moving to Vegas, but in that brief moment before they leave Oakland, they will be spending some time out there in Sacramento, playing in a minor league ballpark for a couple years. I think it's about 3 years. I could be wrong there. But in that meantime here, I chose to go out there to see one of their final home games just to get a piece and experience the Coliseum for myself. I myself was born and raised a Chicago Cubs fan, live near the Chicago area, and have loved the idea of visiting every ballpark. Maybe it might become a series on this channel, who knows? But one of the things I definitely wanted to do here is talk about the Oakland Coliseum, since it is the only baseball stadium right now that is the last dual-use stadium and what is also known as baseball's last dive bar. Upon arriving to the Coliseum, I was met early on there with a tailgate that was just about to get started there. A lot of Oakland fans and also a ton of San Francisco fans getting ready for one of the last big tailgates during this Battle of the Bay series. Just grabbing videos here. That concrete mess of a stadium. One earthquake and that thing is done. And it's funny, I think there was an earthquake once during a World Series. There are these bleacher seats they'll never use again. They used to fill up for the Raiders games. That's insane. During this time, I've decided to walk around, and I hope you guys enjoy some of this footage that I got here, where you'll see some stuff that just will never be used again, or even simply just part of the concrete catastrophe of a stadium that exists out there in Oakland. I know myself as a Chicago Cubs fan that I've been spoiled with such a beautiful stadium as Wrigley Field. However, looking at the outside of the stadium here, I don't think it's as bad as many people have made it out to be. Sure, it is very, very outdated with all the concrete. I mean, just take a look at it here. I mean, it is a little bit of a mess. It's not the prettiest stadium. I mean, you're not created to something, you don't see a beautiful structure on the outside like you do with the Wrigley, or you don't see the big statue outside like you do with the Miami Marlins Stadium, even though that one's not the best example to point towards. But the outside of the stadium really has not much to offer other than a big slab of concrete. Looks like we have a lot of Oakland fans today. They're not boycotting.
I don't know, they're saying their goodbyes. That's sad, actually.
Pretty sad, not gonna lie.
Yeah, remember I had one of those? Section 126, or text the Stadium Command Center hotline at 5.
While the exterior didn't have much to offer when it came to everything, walking inside, we were met with a lot of different things that normally you wouldn't see at many ballparks. I like this little garden they have here, and a mini ballpark here. Sad to see all this stuff is just going away. I think they have autographs over there. Something's going on there.
I actually think, private events. Supposedly on Fridays, or Sundays they do that though. Supposedly there's like a autograph section.
Cute little garden. Oh my God, we made it. As mentioned before, this stadium is usually trashed on by a lot of baseball fans. However, once you get closer towards the inside, you move away from the concrete mess and see a lot more of the stadium itself. This is Mount Davis up top here. We are on that side of third base. The Coliseum originally opened in 1966 as a multi-purpose stadium, both for the A's and the Raiders. And it was also the largest stadium housing over 50,000 fans, especially with Mount Davis that I just pointed out over here. It became famous for its very functional layout. However, there's a ton of criticism, especially with it becoming very outdated quickly, especially with all the concrete that's just exposed the way it is. I mean, you can see a lot of exposed wires everywhere, exposed piping everywhere, and many fans who come and visit the stadium typically point out a lot of its flaws. I want to see what the view looks like from up top here. Oh, now you got a better view of Mount Davis up there.
I want to sit up here with this view stuff.
Oh, I agree. I always laugh at how huge the foul lines are here. Especially back then before they added the extra seats behind home plate. I feel like any stray balls would have been a wet, a base runner's wet dream. Despite the outdated facilities and the poor maintenance the stadium has had, such as the flooding and the sewage problems that have existed, the stadium itself actually has a little charm to it, and I loved the open atmosphere that was there. Now, the weather sure did help out here, but it was a beautiful day for a ball game. While I was up on the upper deck, I chose to make a big walk around the stadium just to grab some more of the views and also just to get more of the atmosphere of itself. Walking around here, you'll notice a lot of these seats are just old and outdated. Most of them don't fold up. There's some paint chipping away here, and the concrete itself is just very dirty. Besides that, walking around here, the weather's beautiful and the atmosphere is great for a ball game. However, I'm always reminded as to the stadium's poor maintenance and overall outdatedness of how much it's just been neglected over the years here. Love the stray wire just sticking out here. Yeah, you can tell this place is really like towards the end of its life. Like, look at how, like, these seats, some of them barely fold up. A lot of them are all corroded, a lot of rust. So far in 2024, the A's have had very low fans coming here. A lot of the fans have just boycotted the stadium simply because of the team's ownership not doing anything to help the team stay in Oakland. So coming out to the stadium today, I figured the A's attendance would be low. However, with them having the final Battle of the Bay series, we figured there'd be a lot more fans showing up for today. Look at that shot up there of Mount Davis.
That's what I'm looking for.
Fans often cite the A's management and the city of Oakland hasn't done enough to engage the local community or even improve the overall fan experience. With the low budgeting marketing and fewer community outreach efforts compared to other teams have just contributed to such a poor turnout for fans. With everything going on at the stadium, especially with the high ticket prices, I mean, the tickets for this game were actually a lot more than I thought they would be. And also everything else in the ballpark that I saw seemed to be pretty expensive as well. Like back in its prime, I could have only imagined how filled this place could have been. Just imagine this place in its prime, how much they filled this place up. I really want to know when's the last time they uncovered all of that just for anyone to sit down. With the Oakland A's having a historic performance, winning multiple World Series, the Oakland A's in 2024 have struggled, placing at the bottom of every list, and on top of that, management struggling and not even putting any efforts to help the team grow its performance, not spending any money on growing the team or acquiring new players. The team has simply just struggled and placed at the bottom all year. God, what a view. I'll say this, like, up here, the views are beautiful. Although with the poor performance by the team, one thing I have enjoyed so far of the stadium is the beautiful open air that just exists around here. In my opinion, baseball should always be played in an open air stadium. I'm not really the biggest fan when it comes to domes, such as what exists in Milwaukee, or even places that open up their domes, such as Minute Maid Park over down in Texas. However, looking here, everything so far seems pretty good. The infamous Mount Davis that blocks the mountains behind there just has an incredible view, even though no one has sat up there for who knows how long. And seeing how everything looks around here, especially with the open foul grounds, the stadium itself on the inside, at least for a visitor, does not appear so bad. Yeah, you really get a good perspective on these foul grounds now. Like, the one thing I would hate is having a seat over there along the foul lines, but like, it's just so wacky here how big these things are. And the fact that like you used to have a football field going across here. Look at this. Making my way back outside here, you can once again see the exposed boxes, the exposed wires, all the piping and the dirty concrete that just exists that most people have complained about, and why it gives the stadium here its infamous and notorious ugly views. You know, on the outside, it doesn't have that much appeal, but like once you're inside, like it's a lot prettier than I thought it would be. Oh yeah. Like right here, yeah. This is where the football field would have gone this way.
Yeah.
Because I remember like back in the day, like towards like the early games, you could see the third base and first base line.
Yeah.
Like it really puts in perspective how far that throw is.
Oh, yeah.
Like a lot of people don't realize how long that ball goes.
120 feet base to base, so.
It doesn't look like that on TV, but like once you have like those yard lines put up, different story.
Hey, what, if you play third base, that throw seems like it too.
That's what I played back then when I was in Little League. Making my way inside here, I noticed there's a lot of stuff available for fans to do over here inside the stadium, with a lot of good food and drinks options available for everybody. Currently where I was headed to, I was going to get some autographs from some former Oakland players for Alumni Sunday. Now, going around here, there were tons of fans showing up here just to show their support for the stadium and for the team, and especially with it being the final game in the Battle of the Bay series.
Hell yeah! Let's go, Oakland! Let's go!
Once I got close to the players, I was told not to record anything that was happening here. However, I did snag my autographs, and I was very happy to get them. They'll make a great piece of my collection. Because yeah, like I would hate to be as high up like here. It's kind of like Wrigley, where like if there's a ball in the air, you could barely see it.
Oh, yeah. Right here.
After I was done walking around the upper deck, I chose to walk around below here to go look for some good food. Oakland is apparently notorious for having some of the highest prices when it comes to not just souvenirs, but also beer and even the hot dogs, even as of 2024, pricing them at $8 a dog. And with them only being $8, there was nothing really special about them and leaves more to be desired. After enjoying my overpriced hot dog here, one of the things that became very apparent to me was the atmosphere sitting down in our seats here. It's actually a really enjoyable view here, and you can actually get a lot of great views no matter what side of the stadium you're on here. As much as the stadium's been criticized here, I really don't think there's that many bad seats per se, even though every time we were looking around here, it really felt we were getting a bird's eye view just because of how far away we are from the action. Even if you were up close there with the large foul grounds, you're still pretty far away from most of the action. Regardless, the views were enjoyable, and right now we're just waiting for the first pitch to kick off here. However, one of the things we noticed below there is our good old friend Stomper walking around right by the bullpen warm-up here. And it's kind of cool to see the old setup there.
Coming out to the ballpark, and his favorite A's players are Mason Miller, Shaylin Valiers, and JJ Boudet. All right, Jacob.
Chance of a strike.
Well done. Thank you, Jacob Shore, who starts setting, and thank you to Gilead.
Was so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the...
Once we were done with the national anthem, it was time for the game to start. And so far, I've enjoyed my time here, hanging out with even some Oakland fans and even Giants fans. Although I will say, as a Cubs fan, I was leaning more towards the Oakland side, simply due to my disliking of Giants fans. But nonetheless, it was still a good time interacting with both sides here.
First pitch, 107. Now batting the first baseman.
After a few innings, I decided to move my seats here and check out some other views of the stadium. So I made my way out to the outfield here. The final game in the Battle of the Bay series turned out to be a huge pitcher's duel. And so far, with it being scoreless, figured moving around here would be a good time to get some better views and also interact with some more of the fans. Walking around here, this part of the stadium seemed like it was the newest part, the treehouse, and there seemed to be a lot of fans hanging out over here. But the more I walk around here, the more I see the little remnants of people begging for the ownership to sell the team, as people walked around with flags that said sell, as capes, and even people shouting to sell the team. A's fans, particularly those in the bleachers, are known for being very passionate and very dedicated to the support of the team, with drum lines usually being out there, cowbells can be heard, and also being the rowdiest group of people. Even in seasons where the team has performed very poorly, these fans still maintain their fervor and they're always being loyal to the team, whether it's a win or a loss. However, most of the time you'll hear them shouting to sell the team. However, that is the end of it when it comes to this era. Now, one of the things I loved here was the open atmosphere with both jumbotrons right in front of my face and also having a great view no matter where in the ballpark you are, like I mentioned earlier. And it was really enjoyable seeing the outfield here. Although you get cut off here due to being so high up, I still think it's a great view here.
Number 5, Ricky Stremski.
With it still being a pitcher's battle, we decided to move and find some new seats here. And one of the things that I saw here was a very dedicated and passionate fan base that still cares and loves for this team. However, with the team leaving, I can only imagine how awful it has to be seeing a basketball team leave, a football team leave, and now its sole remaining team now leaving to go up north to Sacramento and eventually going down to Las Vegas. It has to be a truly heartbreaking moment for a lot of fans out there. And one of the things I talked with a lot of fans over there was just how heartbreaking of a move it was seeing their team move away from their home. You born and raised an Oakland fan?
I grew up in Brooklyn.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been out here a long time now. I've been an A's fan for like 30 years now. Then I was a Phillies fan before.
So when the team moves, what are you going to do?
Cry a lot. It's going to be very painful.
While in Oakland, you have to participate in the famous wave that has been rumored to originate in Oakland. Seeing it as how it can go around so quickly in this cookie-cutter stadium. With the A's losing the final game here, we decided to walk around some more and explore here, seeing some broken TVs, some dirty concrete, and eager fans waiting to get some autographs and even walk the bases or even run the bases one last time here for their last couple home games here in Oakland. Seeing as how emotional everyone has been, including Giants fans themselves, seeing a crowded group of people try to get onto the dirt just to walk one last time on the Coliseum. Just imagine if they didn't build these seats, this would be more foul ground here. So I think that's how it used to be. We made our way over to the line where everyone was waiting to walk onto the field, seeing some old TV boxes that probably have not ran since the 80s and 90s. We were very excited to walk out there and see what the Coliseum had to offer when it came to views onto the field. And I must say, seeing the lines of people who all knew what was happening with the Oakland Coliseum, seeing everyone walk onto the field, you knew this is truly one of the last moments people would get the chance to do something like this. So why am I, a Cubs fan, out here? By the time this video is posted, the baseball season will be over and Oakland would have played its final game at home against the Texas Rangers. I myself have always wanted to visit every Major League Baseball stadium, and being able to see the Coliseum right before its final home game truly was something special. The Oakland Coliseum is nothing really special to brag about. It is pretty dirty. There's a lot of stuff going on with the bathrooms that I'm sure many of you guys have heard about. And on top of that, possums have taken over. You have exposed nails, TVs, and old equipment that just sits around collecting dust. But there's a specific charm here that I really do appreciate about Oakland and its Coliseum. And that is, as once described as baseball's last dive bar. The Oakland Coliseum, as gritty as it is, was a fun time. Even with its expensive food and beer, I found myself enjoying interacting with fans who are about to lose their team. And I myself align with the fans. A team should never have to leave because of greed. And seeing the Coliseum in person for one of their final home games with some very passionate fans was very moving. I really hope the team eventually makes some better decisions in the future. However, under the ownership that they have right now, it's highly unlikely anything will happen. You might ask yourself, who killed the Oakland Coliseum and the Oakland A's? That would be ownership. The fans, they're passionate, and they show up when they need to show up. They showed up during the last game of the Battle of the Bay series, and they most definitely showed up for their final home game. The city of Oakland and their current ownership of the team is what killed the team in Oakland. And now, Oakland has no professional sports teams. As for the Coliseum itself, Oakland plans to hang on to it as the Oakland Roots soccer team will be playing there beginning in 2025. And on top of that, it looks like it also will continue to remain as a venue for concerts, comedians, etc. Although the Coliseum usually ranks at the bottom of stadium rankings for the MLB, the Oakland Coliseum itself was a pretty decent time. Like I said, it is baseball's last dive bar, and it's sad to see the sun set on a very old and historic building that had a very once great team now have to leave its city. Please make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching.